Hey, welcome to another episode of Journey of a Joke. Today we shall be discussing a very well-crafted bit by one of my favorite comedians who's also a friend of mine. I mean, I have the privilege to be friends while being a fan. Give it up for Kanan Gill! Yay! Yeah!
I should have asked you. I don't know what bit we're discussing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. Because,
Cool,
for the last 2 days when I said, if you have your bits written down, if it's like a notebook, I just thought that you might take it seriously. I mean, considering...
I did take it very seriously, but I don't write anything in a very, useful way. So, I didn't want to have a notebook where I showed you the one word I'd written and then one sentence in a different book. And then I have the two notebooks for the bulk of my tour, but that's only just singular lines that I was thinking of and just adding lines. So, it's not a very useful thing to look at visually.
Yeah, but then these are just, so you think individual lines and then sometimes it fits into an hour.
No, I mean the bits are done already. When the bits are being formed, it's just one word that forms it. And then I listen to the recording and then I keep thinking about it and I'll get a one line. Figure out how to, all this part is just fluff and I can compact it into one line.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'll start off with this first thing. I think you're the only comedian, one of the first few comedians who told me that instead of working small bits to fit into an hour, you go to an open mic with an empty hour and then you mine it out.
Yeah, that's what I started doing after my last special. But the last special, Keep It Real on Amazon Prime Video, was very much individual bits that I'd stitched together for the show.
Why was that changed? What changed?
It's a weird thing, dude, that after the special is released is when you get the most bookings. Yeah. And that's the time when you have no material. So it evolved out of necessity. I was I need to get an hour fast, so I'm just going to book hours and then work backwards. But then I have to take those bits that are coming from the hour and then go and try them 5 minutes, 7 minutes at a time and get them tight. Yeah.
Is it a combination of doing hour and open mics or just hours?
Just hours to begin with, and then open mics to make the individual pieces that are coming out of the hour stronger. But there's some parts that you can only figure out in the hour. If it's a narrative journey, there's no way you can tell it individually, and there's pacing which you have to figure out. If you're doing 70 to 75 minutes, then you can't just, it becomes very tiring to listen to just 5-minute quality jokes for 5-minute quality jokes for 25 minutes, and then you're tired as an audience. You're I really like this show, but I'm going to pause it and I'm going to come back to it because it's exhausting. Right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's also considered. Obviously the first one was on Amazon Prime special, Amazon Prime videos. The latest comedy special that's out, Yours Sincerely, on Netflix. Yours Sincerely seems to have a cohesive narrative instead of here's an observational bit. In Yours Sincerely, I do see observational bits that are thrown in that flows really well, which ties into the comedy bit that we'll be talking about today. Surprise, surprise. It's about the time pass bit, the one that Netflix calls How Indians Do Timepass. Even though have you seen it?
No.
It's damn funny. You should check it out. The special is hilarious.
Great to be back in India. I've been traveling the world a lot this year, so it's good to be back in Bangalore, where we have no need for small talk. Not a single. The best thing about India is you can look someone you don't know in the eyes and just fucking walk right past them. You don't deserve interaction. Not so the case in other countries. I was in North America getting a coffee, which is the national sport. And it's a whole, when you walk in, you have to first say, "Hi, how are you?" "I'm good, thanks. How are you?" "I'm good as well." "Hot outside, isn't it?" "It is hot." Then you can begin speaking. In this much time, the population of India has doubled.
I've changed the structure of the special fucking 100 times, okay? So now I'm left with, it's difficult to start a narrative. Around the world when I do comedy, you just walk into a new city, to a new venue, announce myself on stage and just walk on stage, right? So you're coming on, there's some 800 to 1,000, sometimes more than that, people in the audience, and it's cold. So you have to start hard, okay? So if I start with the narrative story and I found a letter, it's okay. But now I'm gonna lose a lot of laughter getting to the joke. So the first 5 minutes are honestly like a warm-up stretching routine. these 3 jokes are like a stretching routine.
Yeah.
Where I'm kind of like, I don't think of them as very good jokes, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
I think they're okay. Like, the airport joke is really fun for me to perform. That's the one I enjoy the most in the hour. So I was like, I almost took it out. Like, none of these 3 jokes would have made it into a recording.
Yeah, you told me about this.
All these 3 jokes would have been cut if I was doing a show normally. But because I was like, before we get to the show actually starting, I need people to, okay, everybody clap your hands, raise your hands, do YTWs, stretch your legs, stretch out your hamstrings. So I need these 5 minutes. And it's just, it's kind of very normal stand-up. It's 3 observations that came to me at 3 separate times. Airport one came first. And that's the fun where everyone told me this is very out of character for you as a joke. It's not the kind of thing you normally do. And I was like, yeah, because I was trying to do different things. The special is full of things I wouldn't normally perform before. So airport joke, have a lot of fun. Audience has a lot of fun. Small talk came out when I was performing in Australia, and I was like, I need a starting to the show. And in Melbourne, they love coffee. So I was like, okay, great. This joke works in Melbourne. And then I realized everywhere people have coffee. And the last place I came before recording the special was America. So I said America.
Oh, you mean the country North America?
The country of North America.
I was in North America getting a coffee, which is the national
North America, not a country, bro. North America, not a country, continent. Idiot.
Okay. All right.
I used to say America every time, and then from the recording I got up and said North America, and then I watched it in the edit. I'm like, why the fuck? All right. Mexico, America, Canada is one country for me.
Yeah. With your joke writing, there's that performance part of it, which I remember you told me when we were watching Bill Burr's helicopter bit, where you were saying, man, I mean, I love the way he performs it. And you wouldn't consider Bill Burr to be a performing comedian.
Oh, dude, yeah. With each special, he figures out a new performance technique that he includes in that special. So, which is quite
incredible.
amazing.
Like in this also, it comes in twice where, like, North America, coffee, which is the national sport. Very calm, very simple. It's the snap punchline rule. It got a huge laugh. There you can do small talk. You do a full performance of hot outside in it.
Yeah.
And then you may begin speaking, which is a great punchline. And I was like, man, what the fuck is the applause? I was just like, audience. So tell me, does it in Melbourne or any other part of the world that you did this joke, did it get an applause? Like you were like, you got it. Or does it always not work? Because of which you had to bring another joke, which is by that time the population of the country has doubled.
Speaking is not the final. Because of the tonality with which I say it, it tells people like there's more to this joke. So there's a lot you can do that with. The way you end a sentence can make the audience think that this is the end of a joke. So even if they didn't like it, they're like, I guess I should laugh. No, I don't know. But yeah, in my experience, that gets a laugh, and then population is the big applause.
Is this more cerebral or is it more instinctive where you're like, I want to get this laugh because I know the applause will come?
It's only when you're saying it now that I'm actually thinking about the reason for it, but I guess it's become a little bit of instinct at this point. It's like when you tell a story also, you talk in a certain way and you leave some gaps to keep people interested in what you're saying, and so with your inflection of your voice you can do the same thing. This eye contact thing is been a pet peeve of mine, and I've thought about it for many years and I've just never been able to express it. I never had a reason to do it until we did this special. But it's like I was in Australia and America, they do this a lot, in Canada. You're just walking down the street, and if you make eye contact with someone, they'll do this, or they'll say hi, good morning, whatever.
Right.
And like as Asian people, you're like, like, why are you talking to me? What's the scam? And then they think I'm rude, and I'm like, but I'm not rude. I thought you were weird. And this was happening so much. So I was like, this is I think the briefest way I can explain it, and it's the most, like, as an observation, all the Asian people that I met were like, tell me about it, dude. The small talk thing. And all the Australian and American people were like, man, that's true. That's just true. I guess we do a lot of small talk.
And then you can begin speaking. At what time of writing this bit did it come? Because it seems like a very smartly written bit. I mean, not a bit, like a line.
This all came together.
All came together.
Yeah.
And did it come on
no
pen paper?
thought while walking to a show in Australia. The full thing came. And then the big talk came a few shows later. Like, I used to just end the show. If population of India is doubled, it's big applause. And I was like, I have no reason to stand on this joke anymore because I'm trying to carry on with the show. And then in America, I was playing to a lot of Indian people in America, strangely. A lot of students and stuff. And so then I was like, okay, so one show, the second part of it came.
The population of India has doubled. That you're trying to parallel it to the amount of time, the time wasted in. There could have been so many other analogous jokes. Did you refuse any jokes, or it just came and you just stuck to it, or did you have any redrafts?
I thought population of India is a good one, and
it gets a huge applause. But I want to know, were there optional punchlines? Did you even attempt?
I don't think there were any options. I think I just thought of one. Yeah, it's pretty
You
lazy.
struggle.
But yeah, this is not the part of the show that I killed myself on.
Yeah.
The part of the show I killed myself on starts at the end of the
At the end of this video, yeah.
Don't do small talk. We do only big talk. Talk to an auntie. Hello, beta. Hello. What is your yearly salary?
This is something that you had told me before. I just want you to think about and retell it to me again. Hello, beta. Hello. Is the same as hot day outside. Yes, isn't it? Yes, great. You have one character that you keep doing the same thing with.
I can do like 3 voices, dude. And
I loved it that you did it, because if you tried any other voice, it would have been very out of character for you.
Yeah,
and this came instinctively, or cerebrally did you put it down? Okay, I need to perform it this way.
Absolutely instinct. Like all of this, like it seems silly to analyze, because it just came to me and I did it. And all I did from this first 5 minutes was cut out fluff. Like I just made it tight, but I didn't have to think about it too much.
If I was also extremely critical and extremely like, no, I really need to figure this out, I would have been like, hello, beta. I would have also done that. So because I do so much of that, when you did this, I know where you came from. But the word that made it hilarious from funny was the word yearly.
Yeah.
Not salary. Now, did this come instinctively the first time, over time on stage, or did you think about it and it came to you and you wrote it down and then you took it on stage?
No, yearly salary seemed like a funnier question to ask.
The very first time you took it on stage, what was it?
The joke is that they're asking a very specific personal question. So you've got personal from the salary, but the more specific it is, the funnier it is. So I think I might have experimented with doing some like additional what is your cost to company, beta? Beta, what is your take home after tax? But like yearly salary seemed like.
No, that's awesome. Okay, moving quickly on to the next part, which is the...
Haven't been away that long. Came back. Everything's different. All the airports now are silent airports. Yeah, they don't make any announcements at the airport anymore. The reason I know that is because they made an announcement to say that there will not be announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to let you know that this will not happen except for this one, which you will do every 3 minutes. And they do this to prevent noise pollution. India's biggest problem. The country is running out of water. They're like, at least they'll die quietly. So now, to prevent noise pollution, no announcements. People still have to catch their flight. So what they do is they'll send the guy from the airlines to personally come and scream in your face. Noise pollution prevented. Before, a simple announcement. Go ahead, Goa passengers, report to gate number 3. Now there's one guy walking around. Go ahead! Go ahead! Goa! Doesn't even say he's from Goa. Seems like a fan of the airlines. Go ahead! Woo! You know, sometimes they're looking for a particular passenger because just a man standing and yelling looks like a couple having a fight. Standing there, Mr. Patel! Hey! We are leaving! Oh, you said you were coming? Well, don't make promises. You can't keep, Mr. Patel.
Okay, so in this bit, any refused, rejected bits from this that existed or didn't, or this also was the way it was supposed to be?
This one has got through a little bit of work. I mean, it's so fucking insane that this whole bit was just like, it's me having fun, but I was like, this is going to get cut. Like, I'm obviously going to cut this at some point. But I kept doing it because people really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, but I kept fucking doing it. And so in all of the doings, the bit got a lot tighter. I don't remember exactly what specifically is changed. The "They'll Die Quietly" bit came later. I know that observation came later, like 2 months later, after doing the joke. No, more than that, like 6 months later. And the conversation with Mr. Patel, "We are leaving," also came later. It used to be, "Hey, go ahead, go ahead." Doesn't even say he's from Go ahead. Looks like a fan of the guy. Like, "Go ahead, anybody else?" And that used to be the end. And then just one show on stage, just in an improv moment, I was like, "Hey, we are leaving." And then I was like, "What's a funny sound?" I was like, "Patel." It's got nice consonants. So it's got a pa, it's got a ta, Patel.
Yeah.
And so it became Mr. Patel.
Did you rearrange your bits? Die Quietly, then Go Air, big fan, fight with Mr. Patel? Because Go Air and Mr. Patel come together, but the Die Quietly bit, did that come earlier? Did that come later?
Die Quietly came a lot later. It's because I was touring and I hadn't been home in so fucking long. I was watching the news in some shady hotel in America, and all the news about India from outside is so different from the news about India in India. And then no Indian news channel was running that India is running out of water. There are cities which do not have a water supply of their own. And I was watching this and I'm like, this is fucking insane. And so I was thinking about it, and then I went on stage that night, and then this bit came.
Okay, now moving on to the bit that the entire clip is named after, which is Time Pass, which is
Time
an
Pass.
incredible wordplay.
Thank you all for coming to watch the show. It's good time pass, no? To watch comedy? Yeah. That's an Indian concept. Time pass. Time pass is both an activity and a review of an activity. Works both ways. What are you doing? Time pass. How is the show? Oh, time pass. That is the worst thing you can say about a show. How did the show feel? Like the passage of time. But in India, we do time pass. Shows you how we think. That means I am there. Time will pass. Just have to do. Don't worry about it. In the West, they don't have time pass. They have pastime. Whole different thing. Pastime is like a hobby. It's something you do to pass time. People are like, my pastime, it's writing actually. And we're like, well, we read your writing and it's time pass.
I feel the show started with the end of Silent Airport because you had a thank you for coming. Time pass, no? It seemed like you had crafted that as the entry of the show.
Yeah, so that was the entry of the show. I thought I would cut. The whole time I was touring, I'm like, these bits are going to go. I'm going to drop them at some point. It's going to go. And then it just never did. And then on the final day of the recording, I was like, it's going to go. And then everyone like begged me, like, no, we love these jokes.
These are great jokes, dude. Time pass is an activity and a review of an activity. Great one-liner observation.
Okay, so time pass had to stay because it's a lot of, it kept coming back, and I like the notion of time passing.
Yeah.
But the joke that I got out of it, I feel is just an introduction to the concept. Fun fact, someone from Romania came to watch the show in New York, and they were like, they have the same thing there. Like a Romanian word for time pass. I don't know what it is, but they have the same concept.
Like, it's the same word, like time pass. Like, it is
like they say time pass
review.
is like, yeah, we're just doing time pass.
After you gave that first punchline, which is activity and review of an activity, after that, it was the second bit of it, which is time will pass, you just have to do. Like, then the last one is, in the West, you have passage of time. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, you have pastime, which is a hobby. We read your hobby, and it's time pass. It's nice. You can write this down as 4 one-liners that become like a great bit, is what I really took away from it.
Sweet, cute, tight joke.
Sweet, cute, tight jokes.
Yeah.
But the 2 things that really stood out for me was just have to do. This doesn't seem to be written as much as you took it on stage and you organically grew it. Like,
It was
what
written,
was
buddy.
the bit? It was written?
Yeah.
You, really?
Almost everything else in our leading up until now was all like just spontaneous moments of discovery, and this bit took an embarrassing amount of work. I just got time pass. it came to me and I was like, oh, pastime. Okay, cool. I have time pass, pastime. So then I went on stage and I was like, in India, we do time pass, West, they do pastime. And so they were like, my pastime is writing. I'm like, yeah, that's time pass. So that came as one. Okay. So I'm like, good.
You got the opening closing. Now you can
Yeah,
develop
it was like 30 seconds. And so then I thought more about it, but nothing else would work. No explanation, no increasing the size of the joke would work. And I would just get so frustrated. I was like, there has to be something more in here. So I used to talk about the fundamental idea that in India, we accept that time is the in charge and time passes. And in the West, they're like, I will pass time. So the relation is very arrogant to think that you are passing time. And in India, in the East, we're like, time will pass and it's a river I am in. Okay. All this, I tried so hard, different sentences, different versions. It's just killing the energy of the joke. And then I got activity as well as review of an activity. So I was like, okay, this is now the entry point. And so trying to introduce the difference between East and West, I was like, I am there, time will pass. We do time pass. I am there, time will pass. What's that? Do. So then I was walking somewhere thinking about the joke and I just did this dance and I was like, okay, well, that's it. And in the West, they have pastimes, and then I do my one voice, 1 out of 3 voices. Oh, writing actually.
I think, Karan, you have only one voice and 2 accents.
Yeah,
One
maybe.
voice, 2 accents.
No, I have a high pitched voice also.
Oh, yeah, that's a regular talk. You have such a Morty voice, it's amazing. I'm glad you came for the show. It's quite time pass, no?
I discovered that
Sunday.
voice. I would do it to make Naveen laugh when we used to live together.
Yeah.
I don't know why Naveen finds it really funny. So I should just do it like, hey man, you never hang out with me, man. I should just like shoot himself laughing. I never understood why. I didn't think it was anything great. But when pressed for a voice, I was like, yeah, fuck it, dude.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the entire bit, and I think we've analytically broken it down. All right, thank you, Kanan Gill.
It's been a
I'm gonna
pleasure.
it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna do the closing to this camera. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
No, it's okay. No, should I? Thank you. Wait, you want to say something?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Can't take me twice, buddy. Can't take me twice. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you so much for watching Journey of a Joke. Make sure you subscribe to Kanan's channel, but he doesn't care, so might as well give me that subscription because apparently
please
I'm
subscribe
still...
to Abish's channel.
Yeah, just subscribe to this one as well.
Yeah.
Check out other episodes of Journey of a Joke.
Watch Yours Sincerely on Netflix.
Oh fuck! I forgot that. Make sure you watch the most interesting person in the room on Netflix.
Oh.
And also
I'm
watch.
excited to see that.
Also. Yeah, I really want to see that
sick,
as well.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, man, freaking hell, you guys. Anyway, you know what? Watch. There's a lot to watch. You're at home, so keep watching. Okay, bye.